ICD-9 versus ICD-10, 2013 or 2014 certification. If I'm planning on taking the CPC or the CPC-H exam this year, which is 2013, will I still have to be recertified again next year for ICD-10? I've heard several members state that it is mandatory for everyone and is offered online without being proctored. Would you advise that I just wait and take the exam next year with all the upcoming changes? Some members are saying that it might not occur in 2014 due to the expense of the software for providers. Any advice would greatly be appreciated. Sincerely, Sally. Well, Sally, this is an excellent question. Okay, let's go see what I was able to come up with. Okay, will ICD-10 happen? Yes, it's going to happen. What is the ICD-10 Proficiency Assessment, and is it required? Now, on the previous slide, you know, I think we went over that, yes, it's going to happen. They did put it off 1 year, but the government's already come out and said, you know, we aren't going to put it off another year. It's going to happen. So, the ICD-10 Proficiency Assessment, what is it? The only step of this roadmap or getting ready for the ICD-10 required for all certified AAPC members, excluding these certifications that are listed, the CR, the CIR-CC, the CPPM, and the CPC-O. You should prepare yourself as you would for any exam or assessment, okay? Then, to ensure employers continue to have confidence in the certified coder's ability to accurately code the current code sets, the APC certified members will have 2 years to pass an open book, online, unproctored assessment. Now, those are the main questions that I get from people. They say, okay, do I have to take another exam? Yes, you'll have to take another exam. Is it going to be like the CPC? No, it's not going to be like the CPC. The CPC is a 5-hour and 40-minute exam. It covers both CPT, ICD-9, and HCPCS, as well as like practice management questions, anatomy, physiology, and terminology. The ICD-10 will not be that way. It is going to be a much smaller exam. You have 2 years to pass it, okay? And it's open book, just like the CPC was. You get to have all your manuals. It's online. So when you go in and you take your CPC exam, you're going into a proctored environment where you have to, you know, use the little bullets and fill in the circles. This is going to be online, and it's unproctored. Nobody's going to sit over your shoulder and say, oh, you can't have this with you, or you can't have that, or, you know, I need to see your driver's license. All of that stuff that's required when you go into a proctored exam. You get to do this on your own, and you have 2 years to pass it. Okay, it will measure your understanding of ICD-10 format and the structure, groupings, and categories of ICD-10 official guidelines and coding concepts. So see, you're not going to be taking CPT. You're not going to be doing all that other stuff that you had on the CPC exam. The exciting thing about this is they just want to know, can you navigate your way through an ICD-10 manual? You know, are you able to look up and tell what hypertension is? If hypertension is 401.9 in ICD-9, are you able to go and find it and see that it's I-10 in ICD-10? Okay, it's really not going to be that bad. And the navigation, which I'll explain at the end of the slides, through this the ICD-10 manual is exactly the way you work through ICD-9. It's got an index and it's got a tabular. The only thing different is that you are going to be using a different code format, meaning the numbers look different because now they're characters. They have numbers and letters. That's the only difference. Okay, so let's move on. It's required for AAPC certified coders, excluding those 3 certifications, and it's recommended for all coders. Okay, And so again, you have to do it in 2 years. Let's see, to pass this at beginning, and this is going to be the 14. I should have made this 14, October 1st. Let's see, get that changed real quick. 1 year before implementation of ICD-10 and ending September 30th, 2015, 1 year after implementation. Okay, so let me get a drink real quick here, guys. Hold on. Oh, shoot. No, that is wrong. Let me check on that 13 or 14. I think that is 13. So what they're saying is, when can you take the ICD-10 exam? Okay. You can take it. I think it is 14. I'm going to change that back. 2004. I'll verify that, guys. Don't come and get me if that's wrong. But you have to be certified already to take it. Okay, you have to be a CPC or one of the other certifications that doesn't fall in that group that was listed. So you have to be a member of the AAPC, just the same as always. You go in, you get your CPC, and then you're able to go ahead and sit for the ICD-10 portion, just like a little upgrade to make sure that you understand the ICD-10 manual and how it's set up. And let's see, 1 year before implementation of ICD-10 and ending September 30th, 2015, 1 year after implementation. So in other words, that's when you won't have that anymore. You'll just, if you are not a CPC already and haven't already taken this, all new people will be testing in ICD-10. Okay. That's what that means. Okay, so what is it? How is the setup? I said it was 2 hours. I'm sorry. Originally they had said 60 questions, 2 hours. Now it's 75 questions, 3.5 hours, open book, online, and unproctored. You know what? I am going to change that back to 13 now that I think about it, because this came from the AAPC website, so it's exactly the newest information. So coders will have the 2 attempts, just like you did for your CPC exam, to pass, and it's going to be $60. So you have 2 years to pass it. You have that means you have 2 years to take it, so you don't have to take it just right away. You get 2 attempts, and it only costs $60. All right, and it will only be over ICD-10-CM. It will not cover PCS. It's only ICD-10-CM. And you don't get any CEUs, unfortunately, for doing that. Should I wait for the ICD-10 to get certified? Okay, well, I can tell you the answer is no, in my opinion. And when we went to conference, they agreed it's not a good idea to wait. Now, it's not because we want to sell you ICD-10 training or ICD-9, all that other stuff, but there's a practicality about not waiting. This I found on this one site, which was a really good explanation about don't hurry up and wait. So think of your coding education as a journey rather than focusing on a destination. Go ahead and get trained in ICD-9 now. It will not be a waste of time or money. Plus, we really do believe that those coders who know both ICD-9 and ICD-10 and can analyze and compare data across both code sets will be a hot commodity. So why is that? Well, first of all, one exception to all the rules is workman's compensation. They don't have to use ICD-10 if they don't want to. So they'll probably stay in ICD-9 for a long time because they don't want to have to pay all that money. But they're the exception to the rule. And how much workman's comp do you deal with? A lot of doctors don't even take workman's comp. But knowing that there's somebody out there that can do both code sets will be invaluable to them. Another example, let's say you're working for a doctor's office and you've got a patient who is very ill, and they come in every single month, and they come in at the end of the month right before their change, and you've got their billing all went out in ICD-9, and the change happens and everything. I mean, there's no grace period. It just happens overnight. So you go to go check your mail, and you got a follow-up that says that there was an error and it was rejected, and you need to make these modifications, and they give you X amount of days to take care of that. And so that's, you go in and you do that. If you don't know ICD-9 and ICD-10, you're not going to be able to navigate through that patient's chart when someone's coming in every month, or there's people that come in every week to get allergy shots and all kinds of stuff, so you definitely want to be able to deal with both. So if you're walking into a doctor's office, say next year, and it is let's see, it's February, and you want to get a job, and the doctor says, okay, there's this big switch to ICD-10. Do you know ICD-10? Oh, yep, I was trained in ICD-10. I waited to get my certification, and I'm trained in ICD-10. Okay, good. Do you know ICD-9? Nope, I waited and decided since there was a change, I'm only going to, I would go ahead and just do ICD-10. So you don't know anything about ICD-9. Well, we covered a little bit, and some of the old books are all in ICD-9, but no, I specifically trained for ICD-10. I'm prepared for the future. I waited, and I'm prepared. And he's probably not going to take a second look at you. You'll go to the bottom of the list because he wants somebody that is trained in both. Because let's say he has numerous claims that need to be fixed, that are backed up or referencing and stuff. And if you don't know how to do ICD-9, then why would he hire you over someone that could do both code sets? So if you want to make yourself be a hot commodity, you need to know both. There are things that will stay in ICD-9. There will always be audits, and to make yourself invaluable, what if they asked you to go back and go through the 2012 charts because they want to analyze how many patients that they saw that got treatment for diabetes, and the treatments that were done, these little self-audits and stuff. Well, you're not a candidate for that because you only know ICD-10, and you can't navigate through ICD-9. So definitely don't wait. To make yourself as invaluable as possible, you want to train in both code sets. If that is, you want to be, invaluable. Now, there's going to be plenty of people that are retiring because they don't want to do ICD-10, which is understandable. And, there's several people that said, because you can be a coder till you can fall, you can't sit in a chair, and even then you can probably prop yourself up and still code. So, just keep going. But if you have to learn a new code set, it's probably time, and you don't want to, then fine, go ahead and retire, I guess. But there will be a lot of room for new coders, but they're going to want people that can do both code sets. And then all of those people that were coding or got a job, they're going to promote them and make them auditors. Because when you go to change something as big as a code set, can you imagine the learning curve that you have to go through? So don't you want somebody who's already an established coder working in your office that already knows how everything works, has the experience, and then they're learning, they don't have to worry about the learning curve. They're not just learning, they're not just good in ICD-10. They have already been coding for a while, and they know how to navigate the process. So make yourself as invaluable as possible. Don't wait. Okay, and that's just my opinion, and most of the people at the conference of 2,000 people. Okay.
Get more CPC exam tips, coding certification training, and CEU credits. Go to www.codingcertification.org.